Howdy, y'all. As you can see, last night, I checked into my very first HipCamp spot. What is HipCamp? Why am I out in the woods? Why do we do anything? I'll tell you all about it right after this. I want to state firstly that this is not sponsored content. I discovered the HipCamp app about 2 weeks ago, and I figured, why not? I'll give it a try, see what happens. If you don't know, HipCamp is basically the Airbnb of campsites. They've got tent camping, RV camping. You can even find cabins and yurts and all sorts of other outsidely activities. In fact, I almost booked a loft in a barn. Maybe I should have. This campsite has been fantastic. I'll tell you all about it. The only downfall here is the weather took a turn for the worst. So if you've ever watched Steve Wallace from Camping with Steve, after he sets up camp, he likes to do step 2, which is crack open an ice cold beer. But I'm on somebody's private property. I honestly don't know if they allow drinking, and I respect that. Plus, it's a little early in the night for that. So my step 2 is an ice cold Diet Dr. Enough. Yeah, I'm cutting back on the sugars. But at the same time, if you've never been to Northeast Tennessee and had one of these, you have no idea what you're missing. Okay, so setting up camp is step 1. Cracking open a cold one and relaxing after working up a sweat, that's step 2. What's step 3? Step 3 is you take off those shoes and put on the ugliest, most comfortable pair of camp shoes you've ever seen. So I decided to go with my smaller tent tonight, which is still a 2-man tent. I'll give you the big tour in a minute here. But I've got lower back problems, and my cot will not fit in this tent. But I've got this nice inflatable Garsing outdoor leisure air mattress that inflates by hand or foot or mouth. You just put pressure on it and let it go. And that pushes air up into here. So this may be a little too big for this tent too, but I tell you, my back is gonna feel great in the morning and not like I slept on the ground. So while this isn't glamping at all, one of the things that's nice about this is I could actually drive right to the campsite. So I overpacked, filled up the truck, and figured worst case scenario, I won't use half this stuff. But this being the first camp of the season, I figured it'd be nice to have the truck. Now, when you take this off, as long as you haven't burnt it, the sugar coating the peep will caramelize like a creme brulee. And it's crunchy and marshmallowy delicious. Well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I am now sitting in the driver's seat of my truck. I was awakened by a severe thunderstorm warning on my phone with wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour, and I was not going to ride this out in the tent. So I'll probably be sitting here wide awake until the sun comes up. Yay! Good morning. So we had some insanely nasty weather roll through here starting at about 5 o'clock, and it's the rain basically just stopped. Rain wouldn't have been that bad, but the wind, we had gusts up to about 50 miles an hour. And I'm reading the news this morning, and it looks like there were a lot of people who lost their lives in tornadoes throughout like Mississippi from this same storm. I guess as of this morning it was like 14 people. So that's kind of somber, and I'm just gonna heat up a quick breakfast and get home. It's not been a great night. That being said, it was a great campsite. The experience itself, not counting the weather, was fantastic. I would totally do this again. But I'm cold. I'm wet. I hate packing up a wet tent. So I got some water cooking for some instant biscuits and gravy. And yeah. Folks, if you like biscuits and gravy, then you're gonna settle for this. Yum. Just like Grandma used to make. All right, all I've got left to do is pack up the tent, give you an honest review, and get the heck on out of here and get a shower. So, as far as the campsite goes, 9.8 out of 10. It's a fantastic site. They had everything I need. The only downfall, and you might be able to hear it, is I am a little bit close to a state highway. That's okay. I knew that when I booked the site, and honestly, with the exception of a couple motorcycles, it hasn't been too bad. But, and I would imagine as the summer creeps in, the leaves fill in and you hear the noise a little bit less. But I live near an airport, so I'm used to a little bit of noise while I'm trying to sleep. Now, as far as the HipCamp app itself goes, I'm going to give that right now a 10 out of 10. Now, that may be premature. This is my very first booking experience, but I tell you, it was absolutely flawless. The site is easy to use, easy to navigate. I had no problems whatsoever finding a property I liked, booking it, communicating with the host. Everything has been fantastic. I am her first tenant, and she is my first camp host. So I'm hoping we're both going to be leaving each other fantastic reviews. I guess time will tell on that. But so far, I will definitely book HipCamp again. And even with the state highway right there, I would book this site again. It's a fantastic site. And once I've got everything packed up and moved my truck, I'll give you a nice big overview of it. Lastly, my camping trip itself. I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 10. The weather took a turn around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was just absolutely nasty. The wind was bad. I could hear trees coming down around me. You can actually, I don't know if you look behind me, but if you see a big sideways branch, that's actually a tree that snapped off and fell. I've got debris around my tent, small limb stuff. There's fortunately nothing really above me. Safety note, never put your tent under a bunch of dead-looking tree branches. Okay, anyway, so it was just not a fantastic night of sleep and not a great weather experience. In fact, I haven't even gotten dressed. I threw on yesterday's clothes, and I'm just gonna head home dirty and jump in the shower. But honestly speaking here, though, if you're a camper and you know it, the worst day camping, and this was not the worst, I've had worse, but the worst day camping is still 1,000 times better than the best day working. So I'll take it. And getting out with nature and just staring into a fire for a couple hours is worth it. It restores the soul. It's meditation. It's everything that people pay thousands of dollars to therapists to solve. I solve here at a campsite. So, like I said, the worst day camping is still 1,000 times better than work. And just getting away is always good. But I'm going to sign off right now. I've dragged this outro out way too long. So thanks for watching. Please hit that like button if you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more awesome videos. Also, go through my library. See the kind of cool stuff I do. Hiking, camping, food reviews, and just general obnoxious stuff behavior. So check that out. And until we see each other again, happy trails. As I tear down this tent and before I go, if you do not have a tool like this for taking down your tent, you are missing out. This puts the tent up, this takes the tent down, and this, I don't know, self-defense. I didn't just say that out loud. So now that I'm all torn down and packed out and ready to go, here's a quick campground tour. This is where the tent was. You see we've got woods basically around us. Nice privacy. And one little tree, but mostly open sky above us. Last night we had a great view of the stars. This morning, it's clouds, but that's okay. And then as you turn, we've got a fire pit with a bench, some kindling and wood stacked up, and inside that trash can was a bundle of nice dry wood and a nice bundle of kindling ready to go for me, which was a really, really nice touch, especially given the price. I paid $25 for this site, and it included a bundle of firewood and some kindling. That's a great value. There's a cooler there. It's empty. It's old. Don't know if somebody left it or if it was supposed to hold food or ice and water, if it's there for me or not, but I don't know. And here's a picnic table. There were a couple of camp chairs left for me. And then over here, we have a charcoal grill and an area that could be used as a second tent site if you're coming with a family or with some friends. The site is definitely big enough. And as we turn around, we've got my truck Link, aptly named so because it's a Lincoln Mark LT from 2006. That's how us ballers do with our 20-year-old trucks. We make sure they got the Lincoln emblem. Just kidding, it's what was available when I went looking for a truck. Of course, here's the state highway that I had mentioned. It's, honestly, it's not bad. It's a little bit of a noise. It's a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. And once this finishes growing in, you won't see it at all. And aside from a little bit of road noise, it really wasn't bad. Like I said in my outro, or will say in my outro, depending on where I throw this in the video, it was really the only detriment to the campsite, and I definitely would book here again. So that's it. An overview of my campsite. booked on HipCamp, which is a camping app similar to Airbnb, except instead of renting a house or a condo or a room in a stranger's house, you're renting a little piece of land to put something on to enjoy your life for a little bit.